All right, guys, this episode was a doozy, and I would like to say that I didn't see it coming, but I did because of spoilers. Do I really have to explain this to people? Don't post spoilers. It was Friday night, the show had just aired, maybe for like a half hour, and I was just scrolling through my Facebook, and sure enough, not blank. Literally every single episode this season has been spoiled to me in some way or another. It's so easy, guys. Like, if you really want to talk about it, which I definitely did, I felt personally victimized by this week's episode. Talk to someone, text them, call them, or post a vague Facebook status saying, oh my god, I can't believe that this person was eliminated. Come talk to me about it. Who wants to talk about Drag Race? It is that easy. Or even say, spoilers, talk about it in the comments. Please, guys, don't post spoilers. So with that in mind, obviously, I'm gonna talk about some spoilers in this episode. So if you haven't watched the episode, do it right now, and then come back. I'll wait. You good? All right, let's get into it. So, Nina continues to be Eeyore in this episode, and now apparently she's hearing things. This is what I think is happening. She overhears a conversation, man, I am really hungry for some roast beef. And she's like, man, they're talking about me, because roast beef represents me. Girl, come on, it's all in your head. They're not talking about you, calm down. Like, I love Nina, but God, she is so far into her head, she needs an exploration team to get her out of there. So guys, before things even start off, things were a little different this episode. They didn't have the little video of the You Got Mail of RuPaul talking about the challenge in drag. They just went straight to RuPaul showing up in boy clothes. Why did they do that? Like, I know it's a bit superfluous, but like, it's always so fun when RuPaul talks about the challenge in character and, you know, about what's gonna happen. So why was that missing? I feel like it has something to do with the new stylist and how, like, the makeup and the fashion this season has been kind of a little wonky, a little bit different than typical seasons. Are we seeing that even in just like they're cutting out the You Got Mail portion? I definitely noticed the lack of that. It was a little weird. The girls had to make their own pilot for a TV show. So once again, I think we're putting them into challenges that they will never actually have to do in their drag careers. They have to write, produce, and star in their own show. It's basically like the 90210, but like kicked up a notch. Now you have to write your own shit too. Watching them pick teams was painful. Oh my god, like Shay and Sasha go together, perfect, it's a great team. But then Peppermint kind of like floats around. You can tell that she doesn't really want to know where she needs to go, and like she feels pulled in different directions. Oh, that was so stressful. That moment, they love that like picking teams thing because it puts so much drama into the episode. Whenever teams are picked, there's always so much drama. The teams are interesting. Sasha and Shay, perfect team. I think Alexis, Peppermint, and Trinity are a pretty good team, but I feel like it's a lot of like big personalities like butting against each other. And then unfortunately, I think like Valentina and Nina are just very similar, and they needed someone else to kind of balance them out. Like they needed Peppermint or they needed Alexis to kind of take control and give them some focus. I think they're both very creative and they're very visual, but I think that was where they went wrong, was that they're both very similar, and so they did the same thing for each other. Whereas the other teams had a bit more balance of different skill sets, different things that they bring to the table. Which we definitely saw in the final production. So we get there and they're not ready at all. They just kind of like think they're gonna wing it. But it's so tough because like you really have to, if you're gonna wing it, you have to have even a structure down. You have to know, this is the beat that I'm going for in this scene. This is what this scene is gonna be. Not even just like, whoa, we get it. But it's tough. I mean, like you have to write your own pilot, your own TV show. So, I mean, I'm sure they have never done. So like, no tea, no shade. That was a hard challenge. So good for them for doing their best. I really believe that if they'd had just a bit more time or a bit more direction, then Valentina and Nina would have given a great product. But in the end, a little wonky. Sasha and Shay obviously knocked it out of the park. I loved their show. It was so fun. Their chemistry is so good. They're just so fun. They're both really creative, and I love that they're willing to both take risks. I love that RuPaul talks about wanting a Teets and ASCII lunchbox. I want a Teets and ASCII lunchbox so badly. I would take that shit everywhere. Someone make a Kickstarter and get on that. Take my money. Take my money. For the runway, they did a Club Kid couture look. Now, if you guys don't know about the Club Kids were a movement in the early 90s. It was a group of people who would go to clubs in New York City with fantastic outfits. And we saw homages to that on the runway tonight.
Well, I don't think it's so much about fashion. It's more about expressing our sort of ideas and having fantasies and making them all happen, and also looking different and being a little bit subversive. And I think that we deliberately try to shock people as well, Joe.
But we just have so much more fun expressing ourselves like this, and it makes the club so much more colorful.
And all you want to do is have a good time in life and not hurt anybody. And I think it's terrific, and I think you're all just the cutest things that have been on the show in a long time.
And I love the look. They are always like really out there. They're very androgynous looks. James Manfield actually does a really good video talking about the history behind Club Kids. It's not even about gender or fitting into a norm. It's about just expressing themselves. So go check out those videos. It's really fun. And I think a lot of the queens did a really good job of paying homage to those looks and that style and that essence. Definitely Shea and Sasha like nailed it. Those two were definitely the most accurate. I loved Shea's look. That just like that mask and like that huge eyelashes, and oh my god, she was absolutely killing it on the runway. I definitely think if they weren't a pair, like Shea would have won the entire thing. I love them so much. Like I'm totally team Sasha and Shea. I love them. If we had a third, Peppermint was my third favorite. Alexis got her neck above definitely had the look of the Club Kids, but then like the judges said, like below, it didn't quite fit. There wasn't like even if she had some like white accents around, it would have like tied the look together. But I will say like good for her for pushing herself to like show more of her body like that. You know, we've seen that she's very self-conscious about her body image. And so that was very daring to go in an outfit like that does show off so much of her body. So like, more power to her. And then Nina and Valentina. Valentina looked amazing. I loved like all the little bangles on her hands, that mask, that controversial mask looked amazing. I just don't think it was Club Kid. It was like Matador fierce. It was like if Alexander McQueen designed a Matador look, that's what would happen. And then Nina, that pink skull, so cool. It almost looked like the way the green was in her eyes, like her eyes were glowing. Such an incredible look, but I don't really think appropriate for Club Kids. I think if you look, even just like a simple Google search, you'll see some of the Club Kid looks. It was more masks and makeup transforming your face rather than like turning you into something else. Like, they wouldn't have turned themselves into a skull, they would have had just a skull on their face. But yeah, so I love their looks, I just didn't think it was like appropriate for the challenge. So then of course, they were in the bottom two, and oh my god, this moment. So Valentina goes up to do the lip sync, and she still has her mask on. And they stop the lip sync because she still has her mask on. So they asked her to take it off. She says she doesn't want to. And then she goes and like blatantly does not know the words. Oh, Valentina, we were rooting for you. We were all, it's so sad. Did she really just think that she was untouchable? She could have gotten to the top three, at least. It's really, really sad. And what's also sad is like, even if you go to Untucked, she's just kind of like hanging out. Like that would have been a great moment to be like, I'm definitely gonna be in the bottom two. I should learn this damn song. But I guess at that point she was just kind of resigned to doing it. And what upsets me is in other episodes this season, she's had such a great attitude. Like she was the one consoling Nina and giving pep talks of like, you're still in this. So I guess she only has that good attitude when she knows she's safe or in the top, and when she's in the bottom, she doesn't have that attitude. I was really disappointed. I was disappointed in her. I loved her so much because of her presence and because of her attitude. And I feel like we lost that attitude this episode. So we have not seen the last of Valentina. She's gonna keep on killing it. But yeah, it was sad to see her go at this point in the show. I am still team Sasha. I'm hoping keep going, Sasha. Oh God, I love her. So yeah, this was a crazy episode. Even knowing what was gonna happen, I was still like, oh my God, like, is she gonna take off her mask? She doesn't know the word. She doesn't know the words. I was freaking out. So, yeah, I definitely had some heart palpitations watching this episode. So hopefully next week's episode will not be spoiler for me, and I can't wait to see what happens. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys, and as always, bye July. See guys, Valentina did know her lyrics. She just had a herpes flare-up. It's okay. It happens to all of us.